Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the channel, there's a join button underneath this video if you're on a PC or Android, and there's also a link in the info box below the video to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion right here, right now, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Righteous Force, Flatzoid, Paul Hall and 10th Man, along with Arwin in G+. Very good to have you all.
Morning.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Got a whole bunch of people in Discord who should all be off mute, so hello to everyone in Discord.
Not
Hello.
getting a notification again.
Hello,
Good
Discord. And everyone else. Any evidence of a physical sphere edge capable of geometric measurement?
No.
They say there's no edge anymore.
No, we just have a horizon
But a
reified into a sphere
But a
edge.
sphere should have an edge.
Sphere definitely needs an edge, yeah. Geometry and all that. But any evidence of Earth?
Well, to have an edge, you need a standard of measurement that doesn't change. You know, if your visual sphere changes from elevation to elevation, you no longer have a standard that you can use to tell if it's, a solid object beneath your feet or if it's just going to keep rising to eye level because you're changing your visual sphere. Like you're a 6-foot observer, and if you use your height as a reference point, of 6 feet, your visual sphere is 6 feet times 2 pi, or about 18 feet all around you at that, point of reference. And then when you divide that by 360 degrees, you get about 0.05 feet per degree. Now, as your standard that doesn't change from point of reference to point of reference as you get higher in elevation, that's great. Now you have a standard to judge whether or not something is beneath your feet or not that's not changing. But if you get higher in elevation, like say 2,000 feet, and now have a visual sphere out to the horizon of say, 10 miles, and get something like, a degree per mile, well, now you've changed the rules. And now you're kind of wiggling perspective into, a shoehorning perspective into, the degrees per mile. And you no longer have a standard that's unchanging. It's changing from elevation to elevation. And so you can't really analyze anything.
Or to put it another way, it's not that you don't have a standard that's unchanging. You don't have a physical sphere.
That as well.
Yep, just begging the question, yeah.
Having a standard would be the case if it was a physical sphere. It isn't. That's why we don't have one. They have a physical geometry reified by way of model into the horizon and not actual location. It needs to be, but it isn't. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
No. It's an effect. Anyway, I've been thinking a little bit more about gravity, and it seems like the Wallers have just built up this giant mythology based upon a misunderstanding of what gravity originally was in the first place. That is an effect. And that effect is actually relative density. And yeah, that results in like a concept called little g. And then they built this entire mythological framework around it with science fiction ball and outer space. But it is basically just an effect. That's it. It's so
Well, it's good
hilarious.
that our forebears tried to, monitor the acceleration, but it seems like it's an acceleration through a medium, like as opposed to a pull toward the center of a ball. It takes on an occult quality that's kind of mystical when you basically have gravity reducing to gravity accumulating mass and mass accumulating gravity. Because when you form,
Right.
the force, in that way, it becomes this, self-perpetuating kind of occult force because nothing else is allowed to do that. To grab the fuel that generates itself, unending, in an unending way. That gives it a godlike power.
Well,
So it kind
they
of makes,
geometrically warp the
gravity
effect.
this mystical force.
Sorry, I agree. They geometrically warp, they spatially warp the effect, which is just an effect. So they're literally warping space in their model in order to make it all a ball.
I have
Yeah.
a
And
measurement
that's
for
what,
gravity.
And funny how that is
yeah.
with Einstein, who says that gravity is the bending of space-time. Isn't that ironic too?
And
I
it
have a
sort of
measurement for
implies
gravity.
it implies that they already accepted what must first be proved. Did you actually prove that gravity exists? Number one, in your conception with a center of mass at the center of the Earth, they did not. And number two, did you do an experiment to prove that space time exists and can be bent and warped? These concepts are a little weird.
Any
That's why
single?
I think
It's
space
okay.
time is just the
I just
ether.
want to
It's
move on
like
with
they
the
just
next
tried to
question. If that's
shoehorn the ether in there.
if I may, any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Nope.
Nope.
Any,
Models, assertions, science fiction, interpretation, explanations for visuals. No tangible proof.
any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Seat of the pants.
Guesswork?
Leaps of logic. No, that doesn't count.
No.
It
I
took
don't know
man.
anybody in our field that uses the method.
Well, gravity takes a leap from just rock solid science that's actually tested and proven to basically kind of a faith based cosmology because you're dealing with gravity as a force of materialism. For matter to form itself with or without the Word of God. So that's where gravity accumulating mass, accumulating gravity takes on a sort of quasi religious quality because it's not really observed to do that. That's kind of a faith-based assumption, backed up
I've
by a
observed
couple figures and some math, but not really verified.
recently. I've observed gravity because all the globers are down because of the black swan argument.
Any evidence of the
Yeah, I
distance to the
mean,
sun?
sure, stuff goes down, but it could be the Cheerios argument, where you have two Cheerios in milk, and you draw a spoon through the milk, and the Cheerios appear to be attracted to each other. Was it the force of the Cheerios by gravity, or was it the medium that the Cheerios were in? More than
I
likely,
think the
it's the
Cheerios are
medium.
man-made.
Okay. Any evidence of the distance to the sun? Although I totally agree with you.
So let's go back to
Nope.
our base assumption. Is gravity a push or a pull?
Is
Does
there
it
any
form
evidence of the
balls or
distance to the sun?
layered, like
Ugh. Is there any this is still housekeeping. It's supposed to be rapid succession. Can dwell on gravity, but you're dragging out housekeeping. Once it's finished, then go on to it, if that's good by you. Just want to establish if there's scientific evidence of gravity. There isn't. That's cool. Let's move on. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Nope.
What's the sun again?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think anybody has any actual proof physical nature in the first place, or
Well,
interpretation for that matter
it's
of that physical thing that they think that it might be.
So no.
They're trying to
no,
cling on to
it's there.
this apparent size, and it does. They're really clinging on to that now. It's all they got. Well, it doesn't change size. Well, we don't know what it is. Shut up.
It's there in the sky, but it's not 93 million miles away.
Really? What is
Yeah,
your
if you
proof?
go by a Life is Short's video,
What
the
is your
stars are no further than like 20,000 miles.
I want to hear
Light-based.
10th Man. 10th Man says it is there, just not that far away. So where is it then?
Where do you see it?
Where do I see it? Well, that's not necessarily relating to a position. That's just
Where
where
do
I
you
see
see
it.
it?
I
It
see it
rises in
wherever it
the.
is in relation to my position.
So it rises
It's
in
not
the east.
anywhere. It's just there in that
Yeah, I
direction.
could assure you, it rises from the east and sets in the west. I could assure you of that.
Absolutely, and I'll go with
Okay.
that. But that's
Okay,
not an
that's.
indication of an actual position, though.
I'm trying to work my way there, Arwen. So does it rise from the east and set in the west?
Yeah, you conceded that.
Okay. And we feel something from it called heat, do we not?
From it? From what? From
Yes, I
light,
know where you.
right?
I'm not. I know what you want to do here, but do we, when it rises and it's up above us, do we feel heat?
But you claim that you're getting heat from the sun, but I'm pretty sure that heat is actually light. It's not a local radiating thing. Like when you go closer to a radiator, you feel the heat. No, that's not
I didn't
the
say
heat
that.
that you're
I didn't.
detecting. It's the
I'm
light
not in
that's
the.
being absorbed and turning into heat.
I'm not in the mechanics of it. All I know
I
is that
am.
when it rises, oh, okay. Another day.
He doesn't like being led, 10th man.
No,
I'll
he
say,
overtalks you every time. So what's the point?
I'll say it, 10th man. There is a correlation that when the sun's in the sky, it's warmer. There's a correlation.
Thank you.
Sure.
So there's a physical thing that causes that. Now, the mechanics of it.
Huh? What?
And,
Hold on.
Slipping in a causal relation.
Hold
are
on. How did we
I'm
jump from that
jumping.
to it being a physical thing?
I got jumped over. I didn't get to finish.
Because you made a declaration based on us conceding that, yeah, we feel heat from that thing in the sky. Suddenly it went from that to it being physical just by declaration by you.
No, I'm saying that Arwen wants to go into the mechanics of it. I'm attributing mechanics to Arwen. I just didn't say Arwen is attributing mechanics to it. I said the mechanics of it that Arwen. I was going to bring Arwen at the end of that statement, but I got rumpused by my own panel.
Okay, but
Hey, okay.
you do understand
Hold on,
though
Owen,
that when
hold on.
we're
No,
trying
no,
to
I
figure
can't.
out the physical
Owen.
nature,
Owen.
mechanics are involved. So
Thank you for conceding your mechanics. Okay, I'm done.
Hey, Branty.
Hi, you're right.
Very good.
hey, Renty.
Hey, Ranty, how you doing?
Yeah, not so bad.
So,
I was just listening, 10th man, and you said when the sun rises. I mean, when you say the sun rises, it kind of gives the or credence to some kind of spin. I think we should try and terminology it a bit better and say when the sun appears.
Thank you very much. I stand corrected. When the sun appears to be rising.
No, when it just appears. You don't
I
have
know.
to say.
I know. I'm having fun with you.
Right. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
No.
Well, the mechanics of it.
Oh, really?
What mechanics?
And they are?
mechanics, the
What's the
mechanics of
mechanics?
the picture in my fifth grade textbook.
Yeah,
The
that's it. The
mechanics-
Muppet vision. The Muppet
Yeah.
vision.
The mechanics of self-perpetuation. Those
Well,
mechanics.
I've seen a demonstration once, but that
Of
was
self-
in Star Trek.
Oh, right. So sci-fi. Yeah. Self-perpetuation. No, I don't think so. That's never going to get demonstrated.
Nope.
Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
Oh, our
OR.
Well, I have evidence
where
against.
art thou?
I have evidence against the R value. The black swan.
Yeah, we'll get to that, I'm sure. But not before gravity. Any evidence you can have a gas pressure without a container?
That's kind of suspect, being that the definition of gas pressure would be the pressure that a gas exerts on the walls of its container. So that kind of makes it seem like you would need a container for pressure.
Ooh.
Well, and also don't
Remember
forget
Ranty
you need.
yesterday?
Go on, Owen,
The
sorry.
baller?
Say again, Owen.
remember Ranty's yesterday with the baller who basically conceded, yeah, it's a closed system. What are you talking about a dome? It's a closed system.
Really? I
Didn't
didn't
you
hear
hear
that.
I
But
didn't.
lately, that I'm hearing that the argument is going more, leaning towards that way more and more. Like more and more, they're arguing for it to be more closed than open.
Remember, it's approximately closed, chocolate. Come on. Don't you know this?
Approximately, yeah. But it's
Come
more
on.
closed than open, apparently, right now.
And you asked, presumably you asked how Voyager got out then.
Well, and if it's approximately closed, then I guess the air has an approximate weight, right? The air has an approximate weight.
Whatever. We can approximate our religious belief in models all we like. I think that concludes the housekeeping. But Discord wanted to talk about gravity. So now's your chance. Go ahead.
I don't support gravity. The Earth is demonstrably and visually shown to be flat. At best, it would have some sort of electromagnetic source, not a source of, the center of a ball. I'm looking at alternatives to the gravity theorem and electromagnetics in the ether.
You mean an alternative to relative density? Gravity is just an effect.
I would go with the medium of ether and air and stuff, and the vacuum being a medium itself filled with ether.
What vacuum? What vacuum?
I think that a vacuum doesn't exist. A vacuum requires containment to exist. At best, the vacuum is just purified air, purified ether.
What's ether?
The substrate behind everything, the space itself, everything mixes into the ether or has the ether as the background of space, carries charge, can become charged, carries electromagnetic signals in light, magnetism, electricity, all these fields we see, it's the ether.
Okay, so it's an energy field.
Hold on. Electromagnetic fields are electromagnetic fields. We already know what they are. Air is just air. Space between air, if you want to call that space, is space. But outer space, which is originally why I said, what's the vacuum? Because it sounds like you just replaced the vacuum with this thing called ether.
Well, it's less mystical in that instead of it being nothing, it's something.
But
just not something that we can quite quantify, see, or interact with.
There's no matter
filled with energy.
So what you're saying is because they claim there's something up there that's a void, we need to replace it with something called ether when there just isn't a void. So there's no need to replace it with ether.
But
well,
ether
the difference in
replace
conception is... Oh, what was it?
Hold on,
ether doesn't replace it. Ether is not material. So there's still not going to be material there.
Replace what?
It's just the idea of ether is that it's everywhere. That it's not bound by matter. It's separate. It's parallel to it. That's really what you're implying, right?
Hold on. Let's shout out Mindwarp for the super chat. Good day, chaps. I'm still here, just busy and haven't had time to join the show. Talk soon. Keep it up, fellas. Still have plans launching my rocket in 2020. Shout out to Mindwarp for the super chat. Really appreciate your support.
I do have a question when it regards to ether. Is the ether immaterial or material?
Well, the ether has the potential to be material, depending on how it's formed and how it interacts with quote-unquote matter. Because it appears that what we're saying is if something has a physical effect, therefore it has to be physical. That may be a little off. There may be non-physical things that still have very real physical effects. Hopefully we don't have to get too metaphysical, but it appears that there is some sort of fluid medium that's all around manifesting itself in different fields.
Well, wait a minute. If it's material, then it can be measured. It could be felt. It could be weighed. There are certain aspects to it. If it's immaterial, none of those things apply. And how does something immaterial interact with something that's material?
Well, we judge things that are material by their ability to take form and then changing form.
No.
That's based off the assumption that everything that's material takes an unchanging form. That may be a bit of a misnomer.
No.
It may be able to take form. It may flow into another form.
Hello? Why am I not allowed to just interrupt you and say, no, that's not the case? Charge, momentum, spin, calories, joules, those sorts of things are what you can attribute to something that has physicality. Not this, well, you're defining it as something that needs to change into... No. If you've got something that's got maybe a spin value or a momentum value, you know, those sorts of things you can quantify. Other than that, you can't.
pretty sure it... Oh, sorry. I'm pretty sure it has electrical value.
All right, show us.
Tesla, yeah, exactly, charge. So that is...
In the vacuum, you have 0 point energy that just seems to pop out of nowhere. And also, the vacuum is filled with 377 impedance, ohms of impedance, which appear to block the propagation of electrical signal.
What vacuum?
Vacuum can also
Hello?
be...
You've got verbal... Discord, you've got verbal diarrhea. What vacuum?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. What vacuum?
If there's something in it, then it ceases to be a vacuum, right? Then there's something there. There's something physical there.
Exactly. The ether.
What are you talking about? What is ether?
The medium that's everywhere that flows through and fills everything. Space itself. The ether, the source of all these fields we're seeing.
There's air in that. That's air.
Ether is not a medium.
Air can be mixed with ether. Particles can be mixed in the ether, and we breathe that in.
Arwin, so what's ether? It's mixed with the air. Do you want to show it me? Do you want to measure it in some way or quantify it in any way whatsoever?
Yes. You can reach the existence of the ether by retroductive logic. It's the only thing that's left if you follow logic consistently. There's energy that's popping in and out of the vacuum.
Sorry,
your options are
physicality.
The energy just came from nothing, or it came from something like ether that's still in the vacuum.
Stop bloody giving me word salad. I don't need retroactive logic. Yeah, when I'm asking for physicality.
Retroductive.
Sorry, is that physicality? Yeah,
so
it's not,
you're
is
a
it?
materialist.
So it's not. It's
you
your
need everything
deductive
to have
logic.
a
No, the answer's no.
definable
Hello?
nature.
Hello? The answer's no. I've asked for something to be demonstrated to me with physicality, quantifiable with charge, spin, or millivolts, things like that. And you're saying, no, it's deducted logically. So you can't offer me anything physical then, other than bloody word salad, where I interrupt you to say, no, that's not physical, that's word salad.
So what about the Casimir effect?
Why are you asking me something? I'm waiting for my no. I'm waiting. Why are you asking me a question? I'm waiting for you to say, that's right, Nathan.
Well,
no,
you need an alternative.
Excuse me.
Either energy just popped out of nothing, or it came from something in the vacuum like ether.
Hello? Why is it that when I get to the point, I don't get what I need from you? I've asked you for physicality. You've given me word salad about deducing it with logic. Now I need you to concede. No, you cannot offer me any physicality to this. Not ask me a question, you bloody fundy. Look, I appreciate you've got a fundy religion. Shut up! Shut up! You bloody ignorant little twat. I'm telling you, not asking you anymore. I appreciate you've got a fundy belief in something that you can in absolutely no way demonstrate any physicality to. And at the point that I ask you to concede that, you start asking me questions. No. Either offer up some physical proof for your bullshit or concede you haven't got any.
Nathan, I already did.
What, logic? Logic isn't you offering me a fucking physicality, you dip. Don't you get it?
What, doing the resisting?
You're approaching this just like gravity.
Getting help from Arwin, of course, because I need rumpus like bloody Arwin as well. Sorry, you said it's got what now? Resistance.
So you're saying nothing can offer resistance? That's physicality right
no,
there.
I am not saying that. I am not saying nothing can offer resistance. Those fucking words did not cross my lips. Does ether have resistance? Are you deaf?
We're going into mysticism now.
No, you talk to me about my apparent claim that things need or can't have resistance. Now, I'm asking for physicality. Does it have measurable resistance? The ether, the thing you're claiming.
The vacuum.
What vacuum? You fucking retard. How many times? We don't have a vacuum, you Mongol.
So, what term can we use for?
Does it have resistance? You started asking me about resistance. So was that just a red herring? Or does ether have resistance? Are you stupid? It's a yes or no question.
So, what do you want to call it then?
I am not claiming it! What do I want to call it? It's not my claim, you stupid idiot! Does it have resistance? That's a physical property, yes or no? You brought up resistance. Is it a red herring, or is it something you can physically ascribe to ether? Yes or no?
Yes, normally physical things offer resistance. Yes,
excellent.
Physical thing.
Show me.
For something to resist something.
Excellent. Now show me that. Show me the resistance value being measured in the ether, please. Hello? You've just claimed ether's got a measurable resistance value. Can you show me that, you bonehead? The answer is no! You stupid fool! Can I get a no? No, I can't show you the resistance value of ether. I need a no.
He can't give you a no.
Yeah, he's like a fundy zealot globehead that won't concede when they're wrong either. So he can go somewhere else tomorrow and assert his zealotry, because he can't concede it. You don't have any physical evidence for this ether shit you're spouting. It's just made up bollocks that you've logically deduced and want to give me word salad when I ask you for physical proof, or some quantifiable evidence that it's even in existence beyond your presupposition that it's replacing a sky vacuum we don't have.
Hello?
Silence.
Are we in? Pregnant pause interrupter again.
You giving a dig yet again. Why are we getting this shite about ether when there's physically no proof of it whatsoever? A load of boneheads out there with a load of contraptions, spinning bloody platters and firing lasers into... No, that's not experimental data. That's not proof of ether. But we'd still have these fundies coming here going silent when we prove to them beyond any doubt that they've got nothing to show us. Nothing. No concession that they haven't got anything. Just, no, I've proven it with my logic.
It's just like with gravity. I called it, though. It seems like it's the new aberration people get all into. It's a new thing.
It's Nikola Tesla's fault.
No, but that's not the same.
Controlled up narrative fault. They need space. So they need a nice little azimuthal equidistant projection of a globe to give us in equivalence in this example. So what do they give us? Well, ether. So we'll argue about space versus ether. That's what they want. That's what they always do. Offer the moron flat earthers who go gobble gobble, I need more information. Tell me how I've been lied to. Yeah? And then when they get it, here you go, ether. Here you go, there's an experiment. There you go, on your way, fundy idiot. That's your religion now. Ether and spinning platters and experiments that aren't valid. Take that, gobble it up and regurgitate it, you moron. Yeah, we've got ether. What's your physical proof of it? None. But I've got ether. It replaces space. No, it doesn't. We don't have space and we don't need to offer up an alternative with ether when there's sod all physical proof of it. No, not needed, not required, not a replacement for somewhere that doesn't exist.
But I don't think he even was meaning that as in outer space. It's just a misunderstanding that it can replace matter spatially. Look, any kind of legitimacy that could be attributed to ether is not that it is a medium, is not that it is matter, is not that it can fill space. just like light doesn't fill space, it doesn't replace matter. Light can go through a vacuum, created vacuum, almost vacuum, doesn't replace the matter, it just goes through it. And any presumed ether to be there, which I presume is kind of like an electrical field that's everywhere, yeah, that can be there. It's not going to replace the matter in vacuum. It's just a ridiculous train of thought. I don't get why you went there. It's just...
We've got electrical fields. We know what they are. They're called what was it again? Electrical fields.
Right.
This came up the last week when we said, is there anything that air cannot do that you're attributing to this ether?
It's not the same category. It's ridiculous.
Arwen, I know. I'm just waiting for that because they have to show us.
As I said before, in conception, the ether mixed with particles would give you quote unquote air. When you evacuate the chamber of the particles, you have purified ether left in the vacuum.
I see. So 1 part air. Let's get that in my jug. Got 1 part air here. Where do I get my 1 part ether? And what is in the jug?
You'd have to use vacuum filtration.
Okay. Got my vacuum. Got my filter. Bob's your uncle. What next? When do I get my jug of ether?
As soon as you get the Casimir effect, energy popping out of quote-unquote nothing that we can quantify that's left.
Sorry,
that would assumingly be the ether
Sorry.
that's left, giving you the Casimir effect and the electrical effects in the vacuum.
Just need some clarity. Sorry, did you say energy popping out of nothing? So, can you show me this first law of thermodynamics violation, please?
It's not coming from nothing if the ether is there. No violation, just the ether generating the energy.
Can you show it me? This energy coming out of nothing.
Why do you presume
Hold on,
it's
Arvin.
not just
It's
an
another one of
electrical
those
field?
pauses. Please, can I see that?
He cut out. What did he say?
Please, can I see something energy in this instance coming out of nothing, please?
Yeah, but you can see 0 point energy in the quote unquote vacuum by the Casimir effect.
In the vacuum.
What is the vacuum again?
Chamber which air is
I don't
taken
need
out?
any help, Elijah. Sorry. Vacuum, you say?
In the quote unquote vacuum, you see energy popping out of nowhere via the Casimir effect.
Yeah, I heard your claim, and I'll be a bit clearer. You said the vacuum. And what vacuum would that be?
The quote unquote vacuum.
Yeah, the quote unquote vacuum doesn't expand on what the quote unquote vacuum. What the hell quote unquote are you referring to? Take your time. Would it be a sky vacuum by any chance?
Say that again.
What vacuum? I'm asking you what vacuum.
The experimental vacuums in these experiments to note the Casimir effect and 0 point energy.
Sorry, this is a natural phenomena, is it? In this man-made vacuum, you claim. Lay it out. The experiment.
Vacuums? They tend to be unnatural.
Unnatural.
They need to be maintained.
They're unnatural.
But we do see a relative zone of quote unquote evacuation as you get higher and higher up into elevation.
Sorry. So, I'm getting very confused. You seem to be now wandering off at mountains when I'm asking you about this vacuum that you claimed was an experiment. And I'm asking you if it has a natural phenomena, because obviously this is taking place in a very unnatural circumstance. A vacuum.
The only place where I know of where it can be naturally is up in higher and higher elevations.
No, there's no sky
Higher
vacuum.
than,
What the hell are you babbling about? That's a violation of natural law, the second law of thermodynamics. So we're yet to see your claimed first law of thermodynamics violation, energy coming out of nothing. And now we're on to a second law of thermodynamics violation, a sky vacuum. You don't seem like very much of a flat earther to me, given that you believe in sky vacuums, fundamental religious zealotry like ether,
I didn't say energy.
and energy coming out of nothing and rumpusing the shit out of me. In fact, you're very much like a globehead, aren't you?
The Earth is demonstrably and measurable.
I don't give a shit about your declaration that you think aligns with mine. You're not showing me ether. You're not showing me energy coming out of nothing. In fact, you've given me jack. Just zealotry.
You've never heard of the Casimir effect in zero-point energy?
Sorry, this is the experiment you've just claimed, and I've tried to establish the experimental validity by establishing the phenomena, natural phenomena, in order for it to be an experiment. Have we done that yet? Have you done that yet, given that it's your claim of an experiment? So what's the dependent variable then? What was the natural phenomena observed? Take your time. No help for him.
For the Casimir effect?
Yeah, for the claim you're making.
I'm making several claims.
Yeah, for this fucking experiment, you dipshit moron. You've said you've got an experiment. Apparently we've got experimental validity. I'm asking for the dependent variable. It's very simple. What's the observed phenomena?
Well, in the Casimir effect, they basically took two metal plates.
Don't detail the fucking experiment. You're claiming this is an effect. What is that effect? Is it a natural effect, a natural phenomena?
The natural effect is, according to them, mass attracting mass.
That's not what happens. What? 100-year out-of-date pseudoscience from Cavendish and the great Reverend Michel? You think that's an experiment? Why are you even here?
Yeah.
No, it's not, dipshit. Definitely not an experiment. Cavendish doesn't prove that mass attracts mass. His hypothesis is if mass, then mass attracts mass. It's absolutely shite. Definitely not an experiment. Definitely not got an observed phenomena. And we're not even talking about Cavendish. We're talking about your claim of this experiment, this effect that you're yet to detail. It's not an experiment. Either of these two nonsense.
Well, the Casimir effect was based off it for better or for worse. You just go with the base.
For better or worse? Science isn't for better or worse. It's not fucking marriage. It's empirical. Proven or disproven. Not for better or worse.
Nathan, empiricism is an...
Don't lecture me on empiricism when you've just told me this shite's based on Cavendish. That's definitely not an experiment, and you're basing it on the premise that mass attracts mass.
That's what they did. Why?
I don't care what they did. You're making this example, not them. And I'm ripping it apart. You've got zero scientific validity for ether. And you're basing the claimed experiment on an experiment that assumes mass attracts mass. 100-year out-of-date pseudoscience from the globe.
All I'm talking about is the basis of the experiment.
I don't care. It's not valid. It's not science. It's not an observed phenomena. Aren't you getting it?
I don't believe that mass attracts mass either. I'd go with a medium like the ether being the main phenomena myself. I'm just talking about...
So the thing you're trying to prove is the phenomena. Oh, my bad. I didn't appreciate that this was just circular reasoning. I didn't appreciate that you needed to beg the question. So the very thing you're assuming is the thing that you're going to be observing as a phenomena, even though you cannot show us any physicality to it. That's the phenomena, is it? This thing you can't show us? No, we don't have a phenomena of ether. That's not something you've shown me. No, we had word salad about resistance values and rumpusing and interruptions when I point out that it doesn't have a resistance value and you can't show me anything. But now it's the phenomena, is it?
For the 377 ohm resistance in the vacuum, that would be more like an observation made, while another experiment was being made or whatever.
What, another experiment was being made? No, first step is observe a phenomena. So your first step is create a vacuum, a very unnatural circumstance, and then measure resistance values and attribute it to your begging the question fallacy of an ether? This is garbage.
Well,
Why are you wasting our time? You're a fundy zealot just like the Glowbeds. Your religion is ether.
well, the problem is you can't.
I've not got a problem. You've got a religion. Ether is your religion. You're basing it on 100-year, out-of-date pseudoscience from the globe side. It's absolutely outrageous. And when I ask you to prove what your phenomena is, you claim the phenomena is the very bloody thing that you're trying to prove in an experiment that doesn't have any observed phenomena. Only your presupposition of bloody ether.
But Nathan, what you're implying is that an experiment can just observe and test everything. That's not going to happen.
That's not what I'm implying. You're a dipshit. You haven't got the slightest idea what I'm implying. Science is very much set in stone. It's a method. The method involves observing a phenomena, presuming what caused the phenomena, and then testing your presumed cause to see if it actually caused the effect. That's the scientific method. It's set in stone. It's not my idea.
But to have the direct science, like you say, where you're trying to prove or disprove the existence of something directly, and indirect things that are assumed that have to be true for the direct experimentation to even be possible.
Wrong, you haven't got a fucking clue what science is. The only assumption is what is causing the effect you observed at set 1. You assume you know what caused it. Then you vary what you assume causes the effect. But the effect isn't presumed to exist. The effect is a natural phenomena you observed, not just some fundy assumption that you've got an ether.
Well, there's
well, this is why
20 minutes
empiricism is
left.
not, because you can't directly test everything. You can't even directly test the existence of logic and reason.
You can directly test whether or not you've caused a phenomena, though. That's science. It's very narrow. If you've got a phenomena to begin with, you can vary and manipulate something you think causes it. That's science, and it offers you an empirical outcome.
I think the thing is you're expecting an empirically verifiable ether, and if
Yeah, I am, you stupid moron. If you're going to claim it exists, validate it with some empiricism. Don't just assume it.
you can validate it indirectly with.
I can I? No, you, who's claiming it, cannot, and have not, and will never.
Well, that's why I asked you about your choices, Nathan, for what in the vacuum is offering the 377 ohm resistance.
What vacuum
if
would that
nothing
be?
is offering resistance,
What
we're talking
vacuum?
about magic at that point.
What
nothing
vacuum?
is doing something.
Hello? What vacuum?
Nathan, you may offer
Don't say it with that tone like you're going to completely hand-wave my question. What vacuum?
communicate blank. How about
What
that?
vacuum?
Blank.
What vacuum?
Blank.
What vacuum? What vacuum? Silence again. Silence, it seems. So you say you can't justify the resistance in this vacuum. What vacuum?
I justify it by saying that there's
Justify what? The resistance in the vacuum. You're not telling me what vacuum. You're just hand-waving it and moving past it, like a fundy zealot does. They don't like the awkward questions, they don't want to answer them. So when I say what vacuum, all of the audience and everyone on the panel knows that you're going to now have a little segue between a sky vacuum we don't have. What vacuum?
Sky vacuum?
No, there is no sky vacuum, fuckwit. So I don't need to justify any resistance in a sky vacuum, because there isn't one.
But the
Not but.
I don't think he was going to go there, actually, but...
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's absolutely got a sky vacuum that he's utilising. He's got Cavendish with mass attracting mass, even though he claims not to agree with it, and this is all wrapped up in one big fat Rizzler for him to smoke while he thinks ether exists.
But is he even a baller? Are you a
Nathan,
baller, or are you
you're
a
gonna-
disc?
Doesn't matter if he's a baller. He's got a fundy religious belief in ether. I don't care if he's a baller. I don't care what he
it
thinks.
does matter for the context.
No, it doesn't. Not to me, it doesn't. I don't give a shit what he believes.
But Disper doesn't believe in the sky vacuum.
But
that's why.
Okay, then what is the ether to him?
So can I get an
What
answer?
is his belief then?
He hasn't defined vacuum.
Can I please get an answer?
No, you can't, Arwen. I
And then
want him to
proceed.
define
No, I want to
vacuum.
know. It is important for
No,
the
you talk
context.
too much.
I want to see
Define
where he's
vacuum.
coming from. Come
Then
on.
define the vacuum first.
I just want to know what the ether is in definition to him.
Sorry, hold on 1 second.
Well, I've been
Define the
trying to get in
vacuum.
for a while, and I wanted to actually read what I saw online about it. And so the reason that I would have to disagree,
Jesus Christ.
if I'm allowed,
Hello?
because there's background
What's going on?
background
Hello?
noise.
Hello? There's like an incredible amount of bass going on. Who's doing that? Hello?
Travis.
Thanks, Travis. Go ahead, Elijah.
Yeah. Thank you. So, you know, Lemonbird, you're my boy, but the one problem that I have with this off of a cursory look is I'm reading the Casimir effect is a small attractive force that acts between two close parallel uncharged conducting plates. It's due to quantum vacuum fluctuations of the electromagnetic field. This is the part that I don't get. The effect was predicted by the Dutch physicist Hendrik Casimir in 1948. Now, how can he predict something he doesn't know is there? Unless we're talking about space, because that's kind of where this comes from. What's going on in space?
Yeah, but the plates have no mass. So gravity, this mass attracting mass that they assumed, can't be the culprit. And then on top of that, they're too close together for any sort of wave or any sort of electromagnetic phenomena to take place through the plates. Now, you're probably getting an interpretation that comes from a certain paradigm and a certain way of looking at things, but you're getting a push in the vacuum, something in the quote unquote blank vacuum is pushing the plates together, not pulling them. There goes gravity right there as the fundamental force. There's some sort of push from something in the vacuum. That something is having a physical effect of a push and pushing the plates together in the vacuum. That thing is most likely ether.
What vacuum?
Lemonbird. The problem is what
vacuum?
vacuum?
What vacuum? What vacuum?
Blank.
What do you mean blank?
Also, you're policing my speech and you're not offering an alternative, so communication is not possible at this point.
I'm asking you what vacuum.
We're asking you what vacuum, Lemon. You keep saying vacuum. What vacuum are you talking
about? It is a known phenomenon where you pump out the air and you have this blank.
Oh, no, you moron. A known phenomena is not something a man does with a pump. That's not a phenomena, you stupid dick.
The top of the...
No! Stupid moron that's not listening to me. No, pumping air out of a chamber's not a phenomena. It's not natural, it's man-made. This is not an experiment. You don't have step 1. Observe natural phenomena. You're starting with a man-made device. This is not science. This is pseudoscience. Stop saying that when you pump air out of a chamber, it's a phenomena. That's not something I'm experiencing in the natural world. Unless I pump air out of a chamber, then I'm doing something. That doesn't occur naturally. That's why I keep asking you what vacuum. Well, the one you create. Well, you created it. Who cares? This isn't a natural phenomena, you moron.
You're using man-made tools to imitate...
I don't give a shit what I'm doing. You don't have a natural phenomena. Don't tell me about my man-made tools. You don't have a naturally occurring vacuum to compare your experiment to. Unless you say there's a sky vacuum. Well, there isn't. So this is bunk. No natural phenomena. Now, I don't care how many times I say it to you, you're still going to ignore it. No phenomena, no science. That's as simple as that. Now, you can deny it all you like and claim that when you do something as a man, that's step 1 adhered to. Oh, I've observed natural phenomena because my first step of observing natural phenomena is me doing something and building something. That's not how science works. Observe natural phenomena. Step 1. This isn't that.
Yeah, but at the top of mountains, there's a relative zone of evacuation.
So he's now going to argue for a density gradient to justify the sky vacuum. So you do think there's a sky vacuum that's actually ether?
In equilibrium with the pressurized system beneath, I would go with pressure expanding toward the firmament and then it just settles down toward its layer with a relative zone of evacuation at the top after equilibrium has been established with the firmament dome.
What a fucking load of old bollocks word salad. So,
Then it's
is
called
there a
equilibrium.
vacuum in the sky or not? It's just fucking rumpusing from this shithead. He's turned into total zealotry.
In the firmament.
Yeah, he's just waffling his word salad over the top of me. Yeah, hello?
No, it's a load of nonsense.
Now, the vacuum that's not at equilibrium
So there is
opened
a
up
sky
next to a
vacuum.
pressurized system.
So,
Well, the
so
pressurized
now, after I've asked him a direct question for him to confirm with a yes or no, he's ignored my question and carried on with his fucking word salad diatribe. I'm sick of this shithead. You're pissing me right off.
after equilibrium's been established.
Yeah, I've heard the word salad once. Don't continually babble it over the top of me. Your total word salad doesn't address my question. So is there a sky vacuum that you think is actually ether or not? Yes or no is all restricted.
Do I believe so? Yes.
No, there isn't. The gas would fill the space.
Unless it's at equilibrium.
Being at equilibrium isn't what gas pressure is, you moron. Gas expands until it reaches equilibrium in the container that it's in. That's how it reaches it. If there's a void, it wants to expand into that. You stupid idiot. The sky isn't a vacuum for you to equivocate your man-made pseudoscience with. There's no necessity. Ether's totally unnecessary.
Well, the thing that you're talking about is a vacuum that is not at equilibrium, opened up next to a pressurized equilibrium system. So basically, once everything settles down, the gas will expand to fill the container, but once it loses energy, it will settle. Like particles, it will settle to a layer below.
Settle? Gas doesn't settle. It's bouncing around at high bloody speed. It's not dust.
The particles in the air, you don't think that they don't have a particulate nature where they can settle out?
Sure,
I mean, on one hand...
Show me a layer of gas, like a layer of dust. When it's inhomogeneous, it's anisotropic. It definitely doesn't form layers. What's inhomogeneous mean?
We might need to look into it.
What does inhomogeneous mean?
It is not the same throughout.
What? So like a layer would be?
It would be homogeneous in the layer, but...
Yeah. So gas is inhomogeneous, unlike a layer. You're just a fucking moron. You're driving me nuts with your stupid word salad, and when I ask you a pertinent question that you immediately reply with complete nonsense doublespeak, yeah, a layer would be homogeneous, gas is inhomogeneous. Yeah, so you've got a complete contradiction in your statement that it'd form a layer in equilibrium. You don't have a fucking clue what you're babbling about, you fucktard. Your word salad doesn't wash here. Your stupid word salad might wash elsewhere, where you seem intelligent, but here I expose you as a fucktard. Yeah, gas is inhomogeneous. It's not forming layers, you stupid dick.
Also, you have a difference...
Also, I'm going to completely ignore that fact that you've just debunked my complete horseshit with, that when reaching equilibrium and needing an ether sky vacuum, we'd have gas that's forming layers. No, we wouldn't. You're just stupid, and your constant word salad rumpusing isn't going to change the fact that I'm pointing out just how stupid you are with your religion of ether.
Well, what about your religion of...
Don't ask me about my religion when you've been exposed as the pretender clown. How dare you? I haven't been exposed as a moron who's begging the question, assuming ether and trying to validate it with 100-year-old out-of-date science from the globe side, now proven to be pseudoscience. That would be your fuckwittery. And when you claim it's only possible if we have a layer of gas forming like dust in a homogeneous manner, and I point out that's not what gas does, it definitely doesn't form bloody gas layers, because that's not how gas behaves, you start asking me my questions about my beliefs. No, moron, you are being taken to task on your word salad bullshit and religion of ether. Not me, you.
Nathan, what are you talking about? Mist settles to the bottom of a valley.
Sorry, air settles, so it's homogeneous then. That's what air is, homogeneous. No, it's inhomogeneous as admitted by you.
So you're talking about the homogeneous layering versus the inhomogeneous stuff within the homogeneous layer?
We don't have
what do you
homogeneous
mean?
gas. It's not like fucking plywood.
Anyway.
Not anyway. If it's going to be a layer, it needs to be homogeneous. Like plywood. That's not what gas does, you total moron!
Stable, static,
It's just
equilibrium
rumpusing the
first.
shit out of me, not listening to a fucking word I say. It's not homogeneous. Gas isn't homogeneous. It can't form layers. That's not what gas does. It's inhomogeneous. By nature. You are wrong.
Somebody chose an experiment where they form.
So now he's tasking me with providing him an experiment. Moron zealots. They're all the same. It doesn't matter if they're flat earthers or globe heads. If they've got a fundamentalist religious zealot belief in something, they will absolutely ignore every debunking and rumpus the living shit out of you whenever they're debunked.
I don't know, dude.
Yeah, you don't know. You're a moron. I'm pointing that out. You're a moron. Yeah, we know you don't know. We know you don't know, you stuttering fool. I do. I understand how gas behaves, and there's no need for a bloody ether to substitute the vacuum they lied to us about.
But the layers of different pressure, like I don't. Never mind.
He still has not defined what a vacuum is, and when pushed to task, he has to admit that man had to make a chamber to create the vacuum, which is not a natural phenomenon, so it's outside the scientific method.
I think
because
he
it's not
agrees with
anything
that.
we observe. Why is someone
I
talking over
agree that it's man-made. It's a man-made attempt to imitate the environment at the top of mountains and beyond, to imitate what is in nature for experimentation.
Well, then who gives a shit? We don't care about your fundy pseudoscience. Well, then your little games that you play with your little experiments claiming that there's a vacuum at the top of mountains is just for fools and idiots to listen to. We don't have time for your foolishness.
Is the vacuum, man-made vacuum, to illustrate the difference in pressure within a contained system?
Elijah?
Yeah, I was saying in this man-made vacuum, is this to illustrate that the fact that I don't know if you're saying there's a vacuum per se at the top of mountains, but there is a difference in pressure, and I guess you're trying to well, that's where it ends for me, because it's like, yeah, but then I don't know what question is appropriate after that. And it's like, if someone's going to be exploring that, and it's going to be you're going to be met with some resistance if you can't. I'm not saying you can't take us there, but I'm still stuck at, okay, you have this difference in pressure, but what does that mean at the end of this whole explanation?
Well, to hear
I'll tell you what it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean what Danny Faulkner said when he said that above the airplane wing, there's less pressure than below the airplane wing. So there is his definition of a vacuum, less pressure. How stupid is that to call less pressure a vacuum? This is what this guy's doing in a different way. Please explain what a vacuum is, and do we experience it in nature?
Yeah, we don't. Shout out to only sheeple can't see. At Nathan Oakley, you are a stupid motherfucker. You are attacking one of your own. Also, big F you, or big fuck you, to the whole panel. You are all complicit. Shout out to all the ether believers that think that we won't take flat earthers to task on complete nonsense. And with that, I'll say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who tuned in on the Nathan Oakley 1980 Premiering stream for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Stay tuned if you're watching on Nathan Oakley Premiering stream, as there will be an after show to follow. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!